Hello and welcome to Pearls of Paradise. My name is Courtney and I'm coming to you from Parma, Ohio, where I live with my husband and all of our yarn. Today is Friday, September 15th, and I'm really glad that you're joining me for some knitting chat and crafty talk. If you would like, feel free to follow me over on Instagram. I have been MIA this week, but I'm usually more active over there. Friend me on Pokemon Go or follow me over on Ravelry. All of those, as well as everything else I discuss in this episode, will be linked down below in the description box. I'm pleasantly surprised to be here with you. If you've been around the last couple of episodes, you may know that there have been a lot of construction workers and construction-y things going on my street, but they have moved on this week. I'm not sure. I think they're going to come back because I don't think they're done, but they're gone today. So good with that. And yeah, we're just happy to be with you. I don't think I said, but if you're new here, a huge welcome. If you're returning, a big welcome back. And let's just get into it. Admin, as I said, I am pleasantly surprised to be recording today, which has ended up being a really good thing. But I definitely will not be recording in 2 weeks. So it'll be 4 weeks from today when I am with you next. I think that's October 13th, maybe. If you stick around to the end of the video to life stuff, you'll find out why, if you don't already know. Just have a really, really, really jam-packed next few weeks. So I'll be taking a little fall break from recording and hopefully creating some really cool things to share with you in October. So that's the first thing. Second thing, if you've been around, you know, and are probably tired of hearing about it, but we're almost to the end. One more month. I am running a knit along, a craft along really, called the Kit and Caboodle Cal. So cross stitch is welcome, knitting, embroidery, sewing, spinning, any fiber art craft is more than welcome. The only other real rule is whatever you're making has to be from a kit. I have made very little progress. Actually, I've made no progress on any of my 3 projects I have cast on for my craft along. But hopefully that'll be changing here soon. The knit along started, the craft along started August 1st and runs all the way through the end of October, all the way through October 31st. So there's still quite a bit of time. We're about halfway through. So definitely time to join. Dale from Knit1T2, who, if you have not checked out her podcast, you definitely should. She messaged me yesterday and said she's going to be starting a cross-stitch kit. I am so excited that she's joining. And it's pretty small. Not a lot of people have joined yet. So if you want a chance to win some prizes, you can enter on Instagram using the hashtag that I'm sure has been up for a while now on the screen. Or you can enter on Ravelry over there. There's a chatter thread and there's an FO thread. For Ravelry, I'll be pulling off of the FO thread for prizes, and on Instagram, I'll just be pulling from the hashtag. So join in either spot. If one or both of those platforms is inaccessible to you, that's okay. My email for this podcast is linked down below as well. So feel free to just send over your picture, through email. That's totally fine. I'll get you in whichever thread you want or both, whatever. Or if you want to just email me to say hi or show me what you're working on, if you don't use either of those platforms, that's cool too. So, yeah, any fibercraft has to be from some kind of a kit or a set. Sock sets are fine. Mini skein sets are fine. Even if you are using a mini skein set in a project where you are also holding a separate skein of yarn. Sure, why not? That's fine. Pretty loose, basically. If you have a friend go through your stash, you show them a pattern, you tell them what to pick, and they go through and pick out and create you a kit, that's cool too. You know, we're just trying to make it accessible for whoever wants to join. So there's that, and whips are welcome as long as they were less than 50% completed by August 1st. So even if you've recently finished a kit or whatever, or you've picked up an old whip that was less than half of the way done before August, pop it in there. Not a lot of people have entered. Lots of better odds to win, I guess. So prizes for that. There will be 1 prize pack for Ravelry, 1 prize pack for Instagram. Both prize packs will include a cross-stitch kit for this little sweet pineapple. I also have one that I thought I would have gotten started by now, but I haven't. It's been this fall. It's not even officially fall yet. This late summer moving into fall has been way busier than I had anticipated. Anyways, each of these prize packs will get one of these kits to make that. And then one winner will receive the Forget Me Not Mitts kit from the Alpaca Yarn Company. And the pattern and yarn are included. And the other winner will receive the kit for the Stephanie Lotvin Shortcut Cowl. You would think I wouldn't have to look at all this stuff since I feel like I show these every single time that I would know what I'm showing, but I don't. Every single time I have to look. It's fine. And the yarn is all from Created For You by Laura. So that is the other prize. Anyways, there's still about 6 weeks to pop in there. And if you're looking for a fall cast on or a fall project to start, do a kit. There you go. I know Kay of the Crazy Sock Lady is running, I think it's called the Crazy Spooky Mal right now. So, you know, if it's a fall kit, pop it in both places. Happily, please double dip. So anyways, I think I've talked about that long enough. Let's get into the knitting. Finished objects. I have a lot of finished objects. So let's see. Some of these, this episode, what I had thought 2 weeks ago, if I recorded, would be in this episode, it's just totally different, even from what I thought it was going to be a week ago. So different. So let's start with the Pickle update. If you've been around, you know I have to make, I've been commissioned to make 50 pickle ornaments. The pattern is the Jolly Pickle by Michelle Wilcox, I'm pretty sure. It's a free pattern over on yarnspirations.com, and they do sell kits for it over there. So if you see these and you think they would make great Christmas gifts, I think they really would, you can get a kit and make some and enter them in the craft along. Words are failing me today. It's been quite the week. Okay, so I have in this bag 20 pickles. 20 that are completely done. I have not put like a hanger on any of them. They are Christmas ornaments, so they'll need something to hang from. I haven't done that yet. I'm going to do that all at the end when all 50 are done. This is what they look like. This one is kind of derpy. They're all a little bit different. They all have different personalities, I guess. This one's a little funky. He's got a lot going on there. I will not show you all 20 of these. And I have 2 more over there that I just didn't get around to embroidering the faces on yet. And 1 more that just needs his hat sewn on and a face. So, but it's a super, super simple pattern. If you've never done amigurumi kinds of knitting or whatever, this is really simple. You just, it's basically, it's all knit flat and then seamed, and the seaming is not hard. It takes 2 minutes. Yeah, but it's basically just seed stitch, and then you seam it, stuff it. You make the hat separate, seam that on, seam it together, make the little pom-pom separate. It's not at all a difficult pattern. And they're super cute. Like I said, each one is a little bit different, has a little different personality. This one's really sweet looking. Like I said, we've got our little, like, kind of derpy guys, but that's okay. They're all just a little bit different. So anyways, those are my jolly pickles. So like I said, completely finished count is 20, but really it's 23. It'll take me 15 minutes to just finish off the other 3. I just wanted to get recording so that I could get it uploaded. But I've got a bag of pickles. So I'm almost halfway done. Hoping to be halfway done by the end of the day today. That would be great. I do need to have them done and ready to be shipped off by mid-November, so I have a little bit of time left, about maybe 8 or 10 weeks, something like that. 10 weeks, I think. I don't know. But regardless, they'll get done. I am no longer worried. I was worried there for a minute, but we're not worried. It's going to happen and it's going to be great. So that's my pickle update. Now we'll move into finished objects that are a little more exciting. Let's see. First finished object is one that I think everybody thought would be a finished object this week. And that is a toque for a friend. I'm going to put the name of the pattern somewhere up here. I don't want to mispronounce the name, so I'll just pop it in. This is a free pattern by Tin Can Knits. I guess today is like free pattern day over here. So the yarn is Knit Picks City Tweed DK, and it's a blend of merino and alpaca and I forget what the little neps, exactly what they are. But yeah, and the colors for this are plum wine, Snowbank, I believe is the white, and Primrose is that pink. And I blocked this last night. It is still slightly damp, but I think it looks pretty good. I am really enjoying making these and playing with color. I think they're really fun. This is a great, this would be a great beginner color work pattern. There's only 2 rows on the whole thing that take all 3 colors. And to be honest, it's the row right here in the middle of these little like crosses or whatever. And you could just leave that out if you wanted and just either do all the same color throughout or have the main color blip through. So it would be an easy first color work pattern. And it's great. All of the ones I have made, this is my second finished one, are from leftover yarn from other projects. So it's a great stash buster. Great way to use up some yarns, a great way to have fun playing with color, a great quick gift knit. This one's going to be a gift for a friend. So yeah, so that's my first one that I have done, which means that there must be a second one. And there is. I also finished the one for my husband. So this one obviously is very high contrast. And this one is very low contrast. So much so that I initially, when I started the color work, I kept messing up. I was knitting it during the evening, and in like dimmer lighting, the gray and the green looked the same. I could not tell them apart. So it's just a very different look with the low contrast. I had knit my husband a Mammatus shawl. Mammatus is a pattern by Gabrielle Matthews. I had test knit for her last year, this pattern, and I had knit one for myself. My husband loved it. He bought the yarn for me to knit one for him. And I finished that a few episodes ago. So if you haven't seen it, go back a few episodes and check that out. So I had yarn left over from that shawl. And I thought, well, I will make him a hat to go with it. So he wanted the blue as the main color for the hat, which is great. And we knew it was going to be pretty low contrast. But this is West Yorkshire Spinners. Again, I've been talking about this yarn every episode for like 3 or 4 episodes, and I never know what it is. I don't even know. It'll be linked down below. I know it's 100% British wool. I believe it's all blue face Leicester. And this came out really nice. I would definitely choose this yarn again for color work. I love color work with this yarn too. Both are great color work choices. I don't know if I would make another one of these that was so low contrast. In the sunlight, like outside, you can see the contrast a little bit better than you can here. Like in the little crosses, it's almost impossible to tell that I used any gray there. So I don't know that I would make one again that was this low contrast, just because I sort of feel like there's almost no point in doing the color work at that point. But he loves it and it's for him, so that's what's important. And it used up quite a bit of the leftover yarn. That being said, I still have at least 50 grams left over. I have almost 50 grams. I think I have like 48 grams of the green left. I haven't weighed the blue. I only have a little bit of the blue left, maybe 10 or 15 grams, maybe. And I think I have around 20 or 30 grams, somewhere in there, of the gray. So my husband has requested a matching, not matching pair of fingerless mitts. So matching in that it'd be the same colors as the shawl and the hat, same yarn, but obviously not a related pattern because these two patterns are also not related. So if you know of a good 50 to 75 gram DK weight, these are all DK weight hats. I am just doing a great job here, guys. But if you know of a good one that's DK weight, that would be a nice men's fingerless mitt pattern. Words are really hard today. I don't know what's going on. Let me know. He does not have massive hands or anything. My husband is, this will come into play in a little bit too. My husband is only 5'6". He's just a few inches taller than me. And so we're pretty similar in size and stuff. So his fingers are a little bit longer, but like the body of his hand is not that much bigger. So it doesn't need to be, it won't need to be huge. So anyways, all that to say, if you know of a good pattern, let me know. So finished objects 1 and 2. I am so happy with these. I have not cast on another one yet, but I probably will today or tomorrow. I really like this one, but I already have a similar a similar color palette picked out for one for myself. I have, I think, 3 or 4 color palettes laid out now for future toques in this pattern. I don't normally make a bunch of the same thing, but I'm really enjoying playing with color and yarn and using up scraps, using up my leftovers. So I'm going to do the same main color because I really love that, but I'm going to use Snowshoe instead of Snowbank, which is just an off-white, and then a dark green where the pink is. I think it'll look maybe almost Christmassy, but not Christmassy, like not in your face Christmas. I don't know. So I will be making one of these for myself very soon. And then maybe a couple of others for gifts. We'll see. Really enjoying this pattern though. If you haven't made one, go make one. This is not a hard pattern at all. Okay. We are 21 minutes in. I don't even know. I feel like I haven't really talked about a lot, but apparently I've been talking for 20 minutes. You guys are troopers hanging with me every 2 weeks. I don't know. Sometimes I'm amazed that people actually want to sit and listen to me talk about knitting for an hour every couple weeks. So thanks for putting up with this. Okay. My next finished object is one that you guys have not seen at all. I started this, I don't know, sometime in the past couple of weeks. I had shown you guys the yarn. We talked about the plans, and this is a baby gift for a baby shower I'm going to at the end of the month. My husband's stepsister is having her first baby. So Kaylee, if you are watching, please stop watching. Look away, come back, fast forward a while. Yeah, I don't think she watches, but just in case, don't look. And if you are part of my husband's family, please don't say anything. Okay. All right. We're good? Good. This is my little Flax. So they, as far as I know, have not and are not finding out the gender of their baby. So I had this gray yarn that I had bought, not exactly on a whim, but basically to avoid paying shipping for some other yarn. And I didn't even know I was invited to the shower, and it was really good that I had the yarn already here and in stash. So this is, like I said, the pattern Flax, and it's by Tin Can Knits, and it's another, ooh, actually I don't know. I don't know if the Flax is a free pattern or not. I think it is, but it might not be. Not sure. Not sure on that. But if it's not, I would have bought it forever ago, and it would have been absolutely worth every single penny. So it is a raglan, and it's got this gorgeous little garter detail down the sleeves. And it's just a super sweet little sweater. So I knit this in Cascade 220, DK worsted, and Superwash Merino, and the colorway is December Skies. And this knit up so fast. This was so enjoyable. If you watched my last podcast, you know I recently bought yarn to knit myself and my husband, each a Flax. I cannot wait to get ours started after knitting this one. We'll hold it up. Ugh. It's so precious. So I knit the smallest size on the recommended needle. I believe the smallest size is 0 to 6 months, and babies grow so fast. So I think, and she's due, I think in November, mid-November. So this will be perfect. I do think it's a little big for a newborn. I think it ended up closer to like a 3 to 6 month size. But I have no idea how big the baby will be. And some babies are bigger than others. So I did not do short row shaping. So it is truly a reversible sweater. I ended up with armhole gaps, which is something I tend to end up with. So I did some duplicate stitching over them. I don't think it turned out too badly. But yeah, it's my little Flax. I thought about duplicate stitching like a design or something on it, which I might do in the future if I knit this pattern as a baby gift again. But because they don't know the gender and I don't know the parents very well at all. I've only met them a couple of times. So I don't know what they would like on there anyways. And I just didn't want to stress myself out. So I opted not to do that, but you definitely could. This would be a really easy sweater to do that on. And yeah, I love it. I love it. There's not a lot else to say about it though, other than it's a super cute baby sweater. I can't wait to knit a bigger size for myself and my husband, and that's it. So my shower gift is ready. I am very glad. I ordered a few things off of her registry as well, and that's arrived. So I feel like my big September thing I needed to have done is done and ready to be gifted, which was why I'm so happy I could podcast today, because I really wanted to share this with you all before I give it as a gift. And it will not go up on Instagram until after it has been given to the parents. So there is my Flax. And now, the moment I've been waiting for. You guys, I had zero intentions of this becoming a finished object for today, 2 weeks ago. None. Even a week ago. This was not even a thought that this would be a finished object today. And it is. It's been so long on my needles. Can you guess what it is? Can you guess? If you saw the little flash at the bottom of the screen, you might know what it is. This is my Gigundo, my massive, my huge Vertices Unite. Yes, that's right. She is finally off the needles, and I'm going to scoot back and attempt to get it all in the frame. It has not been blocked. The ends are woven in, but I like to snip mine at the end of blocking. But look at this. It is so big. I don't know if I'm in the frame or not. I have no idea if I'm getting it all. Yes, it's done. I am so over the moon with this. So I guess I didn't even say, if you have not been watching me for the past almost year, this is my Vertices Unite by Stephen West. And it's all knit from Fangirl Fibers, Disney Yarn Club of the Month yarn from 2022. And let's go through the colorways for the last time, which if you have been here for the past year, you are probably thrilled that it's the last time. Okay, so the pinky orange purple color in this stripy section is Tale as Old as Time, inspired by Beauty and the Beast. The white in there is the same as the speckly white here, which I'm so happy this got its own section, because you can't see the gorgeous colors in that striped section, but you can here. And this is called Glitch, inspired by Wreck-It Ralph. I love this yarn. It's so pretty. The blue stripies in both this section and this section, where you can see it a little bit better, are Under the Sea, inspired by The Little Mermaid. And then here, this is Best Day Ever. I think it's called the Best Day Ever. We're going to go with it. It's Tangled inspired. And again, I'm glad that that got its moment on its own. And it's also the border color. And it's striped. Oh, Tale as Old as Time is the other striped color in here. And Best Day Ever is also striped in here. And then last but not least, this is Sisu, inspired by Raya and the Last Dragon. This, I knit the larger size. There are 2 size options. So if you would like to make one, but you do not want one that is like massive, there is another option. You can make a smaller one. And it's just, it is phenomenal. So my vision for this shawl from the start has been, I really wanted something that I could put over my shoulders when it is cold and I'm watching TV and knitting or doing things, you know, sitting on my couch. And this is a true blanket. It is so big. It is so big. And I absolutely adore it. I have a feeling it will grow quite a bit when I block it, which will be an interesting challenge in and of itself. It is so long. I should have measured how long it is from tip to tip. I don't know, but it is so long. I know it's going to grow. I think the only place I may be able to block this is my dining room table. So that's going to be interesting. But I love it. Like the I-cord border. I have no idea how many stitches were on my needles at the end of picking up for this, but it was a lot. But it didn't take nearly as long to do that I-cord border as I thought that it would. And it 100% was worth it. It gives just such a nice finished edging. It makes the whole piece kind of cohesive, I guess. I love it. I absolutely love it. And I really did not expect to get this done. I didn't knit on it at all until this week. And I thought I would have a finished object that I don't have today, which we'll talk about why in a minute here. But I do have this one, and I am so, so, so happy with it. There's not a lot else to say. I have been working on this for forever. I don't know that this is a free pattern. It might be. If not, I don't think it's very expensive. But yeah, it makes me want to get another massive shawl on my needles. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll talk about future plans in a little bit. I will go ahead and say I am not going to do the Stephen West Mystery Knit Along. I have never done the Stephen West Mystery Knit Along. Fall for me is just a very busy time of year, and I know I will not have time. So won't be doing that, but that's okay. All right. This is the last time you're going to see my Vertices unite. So I'll say goodbye. Well, you'll probably see it. I'm sure I'll have it on or draped over the back of the couch or something, but last time is a project. There we go. Okay. Whips. Actually, let's backtrack. Let's not talk about whips yet. I just realized I never talked about what I'm wearing today, and I know somebody's going to ask if I don't. So this is the Throwing It Back shawl or wrap by Cozy Up Knits, and this was their 2022 mystery knit along. They always do one where you cast on New Year's Eve or New Year's Day, and it's always a shawl, always different. And this was one from a couple of years ago, so I'm not going to take it off to show you. I did talk about it when I was knitting on it. So if you want, go back and look at a previous episode for details and information. I will link everything down below, like I said, but if you want to hear more about my experience. Okay, also, just a sidebar, because I don't know if you can hear the little very high-pitched chirp that's coming through every few minutes. I am pretty sure that is a smoke detector in the basement that apparently needs the battery. If you can hear it, I apologize. It is very annoying. I really hope you guys can't hear it. But yeah, so that's that. We've got eyelets, we've got stripies, there's texture, there's this cool stitch, there's lace. It's pretty fun one. So the yarn is all Knit Pick Stroll. I think this gray is a tonal, but I don't remember off the top of my head. I don't remember the name of it. Like I said, it'll be down below. The stripes were also Knit Pick Stroll. Pucker, I want to say electric blue or electric or something. And dandelion, that's right, dandelion. So that's what I'm wearing today. Go check out the pattern if you're interested. It was a very fun knit. All right, now we will go to whips, which normally is the most interesting portion of the podcast, but today it's going to be the least interesting because, truth be told, I don't actually have any whips. I mean, I have whips. There are plenty of whips, just nothing I've worked on. And here's why. Let me show you my Autumn League pullover. This chirping is going to drive me absolutely crazy. Okay. So I thought I deleted the videos I needed to delete to record today, but apparently I didn't. So yeah, it didn't anyways. So it turned my camera off. I decided that was a sign that I should just go attempt to change the smoke detector battery. Found a step stool, managed to change it, so no more chirps. We're all safe, we're all good. Well, mostly good. This is my Autumn League pullover. Oh man. Yeah. This and this. This is my Autumn League pullover, guys. If you follow me over on Instagram, you have already seen we all know I rarely gauge swatch. I rarely swatch. I just don't. And I know that you should, but I don't like swatching. And usually I'm pretty spot on. And usually if something's a little big or a little small, I am knitting an in-between size anyway, and I'm good. Doesn't matter. I'm okay either way. I usually don't care as much about having a super tight fitting sweater or a super loose fitting sweater. Usually that does not bother me. Actually, I've never had anything fit too tight. I usually have the opposite problem. Anyways, but it's not a big deal to me if something has a little more ease than intended or a little less ease. What I'm not so cool with, apparently, is double the amount of an intended ease in a cotton yarn. So let's talk about it. I knit the size large and I used the recommended needle size, which I want to say was a size 7 maybe. It's on the pattern and probably on my project page on Ravelry. Should be anyways. So I used the recommended needle size and I used my wooden interchangeables, which I've knit, a lot of things recently on wooden or bamboo needles and haven't had any kind of an issue, including my Magnolia Lane cardigan, which was a cotton cardigan. Didn't have any issues, knitted on bamboo needles, no problem with my gauge. I think it's something with this particular cotton, which is the recommended yarn for the pattern, Lion Brand, Lion Brand Cotton Jeans. And this is color Gray Fade. I really enjoyed working with the yarn. It's not that I didn't like the yarn, but somehow I was really loose on my gauge. I think it's the cotton yarn with the wooden needles and the way that this particular yarn is spun or something. I don't know. But I am not a loose knitter. I'm usually a very tight knitter. So I just assumed I'd be okay. I could tell it was a little loose, but I was like, I'm probably spot on then. I'm probably fine. Like, it's probably not a big deal, except it was. So I didn't check my gauge as early as I could have and should have. I should have checked gauge like very early on in the pattern, in my knitting. Probably before I divided for sleeves or right after I divided for sleeves. I should have checked. But I did not check until, well, I didn't check. And I had knit a good maybe 5 inches on the body, 4 or 5 inches. And I finally decided to try it on. I also should have tried this on when I split for sleeves, but I didn't. Live and learn. And it was way too big. I know a lot of people said it in the comments on Instagram that it looked really cute and it looked fine and I should keep going. It was harder to show in a photo just how much extra ease this sweater had. The intended ease for the sweater, positive ease, which if you're not a knitter, or I know I have some non-knitters that watch, or you just are new to sweater knitting or garment knitting, ease, I am probably not the greatest at explaining, but I'm going to try. Ease is how kind of the fit of a garment. So positive ease is oversized. So like my turtleneck here, which is black, so it's going to be hard to tell, has some positive ease. It's a little bit loose here. You know, it's got some positive ease. Whereas socks are going to have negative ease. You want your socks to stretch when you wear it to really hug your foot. So negative ease is it's smaller than the object it's supposed to fit or the body it's supposed to fit. Positive ease, it's larger than the body it's supposed to fit. Zero ease is, you know, it fits just right. There's not just right. That makes it sound like the other two are wrong, and they're not wrong. It fits exact, you know, it's not big. You don't have extra room, but you're not stretching to make room. It's just, yeah, which doesn't matter because I can't imagine myself knitting anything with zero ease at this stage in my knitting life. So we're not going to go there. We're just going to talk about positive ease because it's all we're talking about. So positive ease recommended in the pattern was 4 to 8 inches. Great. You pick your size based on your bust measurement and everything. So I did that, and I was going to get around 8 inches of the positive ease. Awesome. If I have a little more or a little less, no big deal. Totally fine. I was actually hoping for slightly less, but that's okay. 8 inches would be great. I have a sweatshirt that fits me kind of in that range that I love. Perfect. That's the look I was going for. That's what I wanted. That is not what I got. Oh, that's not what I got. So I got probably around 16 inches, if I did my math right, which is entirely possible that I did not, of positive ease. Which, it just wasn't what I wanted. It ended up really coming out to about a size or 2 larger than I was knitting. And that's just not what I wanted. If this had been a wool yarn, I might have been more okay with continuing on. But because of the nature of cotton tends to, as you wear it, sag a little bit and just like, not exactly stretch, but I don't know, sag, I guess, is kind of the best word. Which sounds very negative, and it's not always a negative thing. But in this case, it really was. And I tried it on with a dress. I think it would have been clearer in the photos just because a dress is what I had worn to work. It would have been clearer in the photos if I had tried it on with like a camisole and pants, how large it was, because the dress I was wearing has a decent amount of ease. So it didn't appear to be in the photos as big as it really was. And because I have, for my frame itself is decently petite. I have very narrow shoulders, pretty narrow hips, but I have a very large bust. So what ended up happening is I had actually plenty of fabric in the front and then a ton of fabric in the back. And then the armpits, which again, in a wool sweater, I would have had maybe a little more structure, like just naturally from the fiber and stuff, than I did in this sweater. And the armpits started like below my bust line, which just on my frame and my body shape is not a good look. I have a very short torso. So, they're really between my bust and the start of my hips are only a few inches. And it just was not going to be a good look. It would not have been something that I would have been comfortable wearing. I wanted to wear it to work, and that much extra fabric would be very cumbersome. And I wanted a slightly oversized sweater, not one that was going to make me feel... I felt frumpy. I felt saggy. I didn't feel good. I love the way, I love the pattern. The pattern is great. Very clear. I did mess up on my increases once, but not in a way that really would have affected anything, because I did go back and kind of correct. So that wouldn't have thrown my measurements off or anything like that, but it did make the increase line a little very slightly less beautiful and crisp. The other thing that I had issues with, which again comes back kind of to the yarn, which I'm not saying is a bad thing, I'm saying it's a me issue, weaving in my ends. Do you guys have any tips for weaving ends in on cotton projects? Because I find when I do, especially on things that are like a stockinette stitch, they tend to pop out, or, which this was the problem with this one, I could very clearly see where I wove my ends in, just like looking at the sweater. Like I could see it and it didn't look good and it was not pretty. So if any of you have any tips on that, I would love your tips, because I will be restarting this. So gauge. My gauge was... you were supposed to get 19 stitches per 4 inches, and I was getting 16 stitches per 4 inches. Was that right? Yes. So quite a bit larger. Quite a bit larger. That's almost per 19 stitches. That's almost an extra inch, per 19 stitches. So that's what I mean. I was getting a much larger gauge than I wanted. And I didn't really like the way the fabric was draping either. Like, it had too much drape, just a little. And I think tightening up that gauge would help. So I am going to go down a needle size and restart the pattern. And the stitch counts for the medium size and the large size are in fact the same up until a certain point on your raglan increases, I think. So because they're the same, I don't have to choose a size right away, and I can kind of just see how the gauge ends up. So if I'm still getting a much larger gauge than I would like, I'll just probably knit the medium size and go from there. If my gauge is fine and spot on, then I will continue knitting the large size as intended. But thank you all for your encouragement on that post and sweet comments. I'm glad that I didn't look to other people the way that I felt, But the whole purpose for me, at least, of having a handmade wardrobe is to have something that makes me feel really good and makes me feel really proud and makes me something that fits my unique proportions, my unique body, the way that I want it to. And if I'm not achieving that, then there's really no point in doing this, you know? If I'm not achieving it, then I might as well go and buy a sweater from a store that kind of fits or whatever. So, you know, that's my personal thought on it, you know. That being said, a couple of people had reached out and said, oh, why don't you give it to your husband? Well, it wasn't going to fit my husband either. I actually did. I had just done his measurements for the flax I'm going to be knitting. And his chest circumference is significantly smaller than mine. Not significantly, I guess, but like 5 inches, which is, yeah, that's significant. 5 inches. And like I said earlier, I think I said earlier in my podcast, my husband's only 5'6". We routinely wear similar sizes of like shirts and stuff. Like if we buy matching t-shirts, we both usually get the same size. So I knew if it didn't fit me, it wasn't going to fit him. And to be honest, I don't think he would. Of course, he's going to watch this. So, Mason, if you want, you can comment down below and tell the people if you would wear it or not. I don't actually think he would wear that kind of a sweater anyways. I don't think he'd wear the cotton in like a looser, oversized fitting sweater. That's not his style at all. Yeah, I don't think so. So anyways, I ripped it out as soon as I posted the picture. So even if it had been an option at that point, it was already like this. I just ripped off the Band-Aid. I just did it. And I don't regret ripping it out. I am totally okay with that. It's fine. I'm not upset about it. I mean, I'm a little bit bummed because I would have loved to have been wearing it today. That was my intention, but that didn't happen, and it's okay. This is part of knitting. It's part of the process. Not everything's going to go perfectly the first time. It's a learning experience. I learned that you should always gauge swatch. Will I gauge swatch? No, I won't. I will not be doing that because I also find sometimes I gauge swatch and then it's not even accurate. So no, I'm not going to do that. But what I will start doing is checking my gauge for sweaters along the way. Earlier on, particularly if it's a fiber that I'm not used to working with. So live and learn. I will be so much happier with a slightly smaller version. Even if I end up with 10 inches of ease, I think I'd be okay with that. But like 15, 16, whatever it was, I don't math. I don't know. It was too much. It was just way too much, and I was swimming in fabric and I wasn't happy. So the other thing I've thought about is maybe I do just need to go down to the medium. But I didn't love the fabric I was getting with the needle. So I don't know. I have not recast it on. I had intended to. It just didn't happen. And I'm kind of glad that I didn't cast it on right away. Again, because I do think I need to think it through. I still think I'm going to do what I said, go down 1 needle size and see how it goes. But anyways, that is the Autumn Lake pullover. And that is my only whip. I had so much progress. So much progress on it. But that's pretty much all I knit on last week was this, and then realized it wasn't going to work out, and it's a bummer, but that's okay. So last episode, we're moving into future plans, by the way. I think we're moving into future plans. Last episode, I had talked about wanting to finish the Autumn League pullover as my third quarter sweater. Well, the third quarter ends in 15 days. The third quarter of the year, I'm trying to do a sweater per quarter each quarter this year. So September 30th marks the end of the third quarter. And again, this is my Autumn League pullover. It's not going to happen. I am not going to get this done. So I'm just going to start a completely new sweater. And I think I can get it done. So I had talked last time about the Even Easier Eyelet Yoke by Knitatude. And it is knit on super bulky yarn. She used, I believe, Lion brand Thick and Quick. Woolies Thick and Quick. I have 5 skeins of this Cozy Wool by Loops and Threads, which is another super bulky. It's very similar. I think this is like the Michaels brand. So 50% wool, 50% acrylic. And I think you're supposed to use like a US size 15 needle. I can probably get this done in 2 weeks. I have not cast it on. I did my only stash edition, which I didn't even bring over here this week. I did buy the bulky needle tips from Knit Picks for my interchangeable set so that I could knit this sweater. I'm going to cast this on today, and I am hoping to have it done by the end of the month. I think I have knit a super bulky sweater before in a 3-day weekend, and that one was a long, I think I wore it on here once. And that was long. It was color work, like, and I'm talking like tunic length. I knit it longer than the pattern said, if I remember right. And that, I think, was the Malmo. Couldn't tell you the designer. I don't remember. I knit it a few years ago. If I could do that in a 3-day weekend, I am pretty sure I could knit this one easily in 2 weeks. But we'll see. So that is a future plan. I will also be casting something on for the autumn equinox. I just like to mark the seasons that way. I think it's a fun way to move into a new season. Next Saturday, September 23rd. So I don't know what I'm casting on yet. I have gone back and forth. I have a few things that are sort of speaking to me, but also nothing's really speaking to me. Maybe a shawl. Maybe some socks. I don't think I will cast a sweater on, but we'll see. I don't know. We will see. Other future knitting plans. I did find the pattern for my husband's vest this week. It did appear. It is not totally lost. My husband had gathered up library books and ended up putting the magazine with our library books. And I just hadn't looked, and I was pulling a bunch of things to return earlier this week, and there it was. So I am hoping to work on his vest. I was going to do the flax for him for Christmas. I am not casting on the flax yet. I really want to get this vest done for Christmas, I think, is my goal. Because, I didn't bring it down. It's fine. My Make 9 whips bingo for the year. Here it is. This was my number 8 project. The only project left on my whips bingo board for 2023 is my husband's vest. That's it. And that was one of my goals, was to get through all those whips. So I have one more left. And I have a quarter plus 2 weeks to get it done. I can get this done. It's going to happen. Now we all know what happens when I say things are going to happen, so please don't hold me to it. But I am hoping to have that done for my husband by Christmas. I think those are all my future plans. Like I said, I'm planning to knit more of those toques. I'll probably get one of those cast on soon. Obviously, pickles are a big plan. Have to get a lot of those done very soon. And I really want to get back to all of my whips. I have really missed working on them since I've been doing so many baby knits and commission knits, and I have another baby cardigan that I need to knit up and have done by the end of October. I feel like really, a lot of this year has been gift knitting and like, I don't want to say obligation knitting. That is a negative connotation. I think that I don't want to, that's not exactly what I mean. Deadline knitting. That's better. Deadline knitting, and knitting that's not self-imposed deadlines, but that are true deadlines. And I'm sort of hoping that maybe 2024 things will calm down a bit and I won't have quite as much deadline knitting, but we'll see. Okay, so I think that's all for my future plans. Get back to my whips, work on the pickles, baby knits, start and finish a sweater, cast my Autumn League pullover back on, make more of the toques. That's a lot of future plans. I have another future plan, which kind of moves us into life stuff. So as I said, I won't be podcasting in 2 weeks because I'm going to be very busy. And the biggest thing that's going to be taking up a lot of my time in the coming weeks is I start sewing classes tomorrow. And I'm really nervous. I'm also really excited. It's hard to be good at something like knitting and then go be really, really bad at something. I've talked about that before, and you guys have seen, if you've been around a while, that I've played around on my sewing machine, sort of. But if I'm being honest, I just don't know what I'm doing. So my parents for Christmas this year have gifted me sewing lessons, and I start tomorrow. So the first one is just how to use your sewing machine, and it's a 3-hour class tomorrow. I am so excited to learn and know what I'm doing and maybe get over some of my apprehension when it comes to sewing. And then 2 evenings a week for the next couple of weeks, I go on Monday and Thursdays for, I think it's called How to Sew 101 or Sewing 101. And by the end of the course, I believe you're supposed to have finished 3 projects. I don't know what we're making. I have no idea. This is all new to me. I don't know. So I'm really excited about that. Hopefully next time I podcast, I'll have some sewing finished objects. But just the nature of that, and if you've been around, you know I also work full-time outside of my home, and I've got commissions and stuff. I just don't know what content I would even have to share with you in 2 weeks, other than maybe my sewing projects. And also I have changed my work schedule for the very tail end of September to go to the baby shower. I was supposed to work that Saturday and be off the Friday, but one of my coworkers and knitting friends was kind enough to trade days with me so that I can attend the baby shower. So I'll be at the baby shower on the Saturday, and the Friday when I would record, I will be at work. So that's a lot. And then the following weekend, one of my friends is getting married, so we have a wedding to attend. That's also my dad's birthday, and I don't know. I don't know how we're halfway through September. I really don't know. I think the rest of the year is just going to fly past. It's just bananas. And there was something else. So if you've been around, you may know a while ago, like a long while ago, I had mentioned that my husband might be moving into a different role at his workplace. He had been working the past couple of years in a couple of different roles in a warehouse and had been wanting to move to the front office. And he found out this week that he got that position in the front office. So he's been sort of transitioning up there for a while, but we weren't 100% sure. And this week it became kind of official. So all that being said, very excited about that. It's a new, he's doing more of what he's come to really enjoy in that position. And since he's in an office now, he can wear more hand knits than he could when he was in the warehouse. Working on equipment and stuff. He didn't want to wear his vests and things because he didn't want them to get snagged or dirty. But now that he's in the office, he can wear more of those. So that gives me extra motivation to knit some more things for him and really get that other sweater vest done. So I think that's all I have in, we haven't even talked about the past couple of weeks. What have I done? We had Labor Day weekend here in the States a couple of weeks ago. It was very, very hot. I knit on Pickles the whole weekend. Didn't really do much else. Last weekend, I worked on the Sunday, so I was only off last Saturday, and I don't recall us doing anything of significance. Pretty sure I worked on Pickles again. And Monday I had a migraine, so I didn't get the knitting done that day that I had intended. Yeah, I don't know. And then this coming weekend, like I said, I start sewing classes tomorrow, and my brother's coming over for the weekend. I also think we are going to, I have to make sure we can still get tickets to the Asian Lantern Festival at the Cleveland Zoo. It's the last day for it. So we've been talking about going all summer, and we're finally going to do it tomorrow night. Play some Pokemon Go this weekend, and I think that's about all I've got. You know what? Before we go, reading and watching. This will be very short because haven't done a whole lot of either of those things. Reading, I finished Daisy Darker. I don't know if I said that. Loved it. Haven't picked up anything else since, really. Daisy Darker by Alice Feeney. I talked about it the last episode. Watching, we have been absolutely thoroughly enjoying watching Only Murders in the Building. I feel like everybody's watching it right now. It is great. That's over on Hulu if you're interested. Really, really enjoying it. There's only 2 more episodes, I think, this season, and we are all caught up. So we need to find a new show to watch. We did watch the first episode of Community over on Netflix last night. Not sure what I think of it yet. We'll probably give it a couple more episodes before we decide if we'll continue or not. And that's what I've been watching. Podcasts. A lot of you said that you really liked where I talked, and I've noticed I did it a couple weeks ago, and then several other podcasters I watched started kind of mentioning other podcasts, which I think is super cool. I think it's nice when we can mention other podcasts and use our platform to help out somebody else and, give you guys some new ideas of what to watch. So, let's see. I've mostly been watching podcasts the past couple weeks, but I'm trying to think of who new. Like I said, I've been watching Dale of Knit One T2. Really enjoying her podcasts. Let's see. Crazy Sock Lady, Kay Litton, of course. Many of you watch her. If you have not watched Finnish Knitting Stories with Yana, go check her out. She's always knitting bright things. She lives in Finland, Finnish Knitting Stories, obviously. And she always knits just such cool stuff. I love all her neons, and I think she is joining the mystery knit along with Stephen West. So go give her a watch if you haven't. I just really like her whole energy and aesthetic. One of my other favorite podcasts that I have been watching for years is A Lovely Yarn, and that's hosted by Amber. She just knits beautiful things. Her home is so cozy looking and so sweet. I love her vlogs and her background and her whole aesthetic. She knits really beautiful sweaters and gorgeous socks. She is co-hosting a ranunculus knit along that's coming up. She talked about it in her most recent episode. So if you're interested in knitting a ranunculus this fall, definitely go check out her most recent episode. But I've been watching her for years, probably 3 or 4 years now. And I love her energy and her whole aesthetic and everything. Just really nice, really soothing. I started watching It Is a Sarah, and her name is Sarah. She lives in the Netherlands, and she does 2 episodes a week now, I think. And for each of those episodes, she does 2 versions, one in Dutch and one in English. So I've really enjoyed watching her. I did just start watching Piece for Piece Crafting, I think is the channel. I think it's Piece for Piece Crafting. All of these I will link down below. And I have heard of him before, but I have never watched him. I want to say his name is Michael, but I could be making that up. But I'm trying to watch some more male podcasters now that I'm knitting for my husband more, to get some pattern ideas and fit ideas and just kind of broaden the scope of what I'm watching. So if you have podcast suggestions for me, please leave them down below. I'm always up for watching, for trying something new or following somebody new. I think that's fun. Oh, and also congratulations to Amy of Happy Little Yarn podcast. She reached 1,000 subscribers this week, which is a big deal. That's so exciting. So congratulations, Amy. And if you have not watched her yet, go be the 1,001th. Be subscriber number 1001 and go check her channel out. I know she's doing 1,000 subscriber something, so that'll be fun and exciting to see too. Okay, this is so much rambling. We are going to move on to the next thing. This was a long one. I didn't think it was going to be long. Every time I think it's not going to be long, it is. So, whew. Anyways, I'm gonna say goodbye. I'm gonna get this edited and uploaded and get to doing all of the things I just told you I was going to do. We'll see if I do any of them or some of them. But I hope that in the next few weeks, until I see you again, you take some time or find some time to do some crafting or knitting or whatever is bringing you joy right now over in your little corner of paradise. And I'll be over here just knitting away in my little corner of paradise. If you've enjoyed this video, I would really appreciate if you can subscribe if you want to continue seeing my videos, hit the notification bell so that you know when I post new things. Thanks for being here. Comment, let me know what you're working on. If you have any knitting sadness or joys or whatever, I just would love to hear from you. So, all right, I will see you next time, friends. Bye.